Hello, friends. Welcome to today's reflection and meditation, significance. I was struck by the word. It came up yesterday, and I don't even remember the context. And of course, as I tend to do with words, I went down the rabbit hole. And as I was spending a little time with the word, I was reflecting on how much significance is pointing towards not necessarily deeper meanings, but essential meanings, right? Deeper kind of can put a sort of priority or something being more important or less important. And I continue to try to move away from those types of references. For instance, judging something to be superficial versus meaningful. And I know in a certain way they can help us understand ourselves. Oh, I'm wasting my time, or oh, I'm honoring my time. When it comes to significance, I think I prefer not a deeper meaning, but a more vibrant meaning, or a full-bodied divine meaning. And significance, I believe, is a real path to affluence. So our theme this series was affluence, right? The relational quality of spirit and life. And I'm sure in the weavings of everywhere we've gone over the past 6 weeks that you have gained a lot of different entry points to connections with yourself and the divine. There's significance there, and that significance gives a place for there to be a recognizable flow. Now I am here in a beautiful park. I'm going to just do a pan here because we're going to actually walk around. I'm going to show you some different things. It's a park that Frida Kahlo and Juan Rivera used to walk. They lived not too far from here. And I'm spending the day here before I leave tomorrow morning to go back to Colorado. And had a wonderful guru walk guided tour. And while here, have been able to taste the richness of this community. Very affluent. He told me the house prices, and back in the day it was very affluent, and it's still very, very affluent. Holy shamoly. But Frida and Juan, coming from richer backgrounds, met here. And if you know anything about Frida, you'll know that she had a terrible accident that happened, I believe, when she was 18, and put her into a body cast. I mean, she could have died. I think a part of the train went through her vagina, and she broke one leg in, I don't know, more than 10 places, 17 places, and broke her ribs, and she was in a body cast. Now, some of the history has it that she was going to be a doctor or go into medicine, and when she was going through this experience, she decided against that. But she was in bed for a couple years, and in this body cast, in order to give her something to really do, they put a mirror on the ceiling, and that mirror began to inspire her to do art, to do self-portraits. It's what really put her in touch with her call in life, and it was significant, right? This massive suffering was significant for her. Now, she used her own body and her own story as an icon to unearth the deeper texture of life. That's the best way I would put it. And of course, if you're not that familiar with her, I encourage you to Google her work a bit. But here we've got a picture of her, which gives you a real sense of how strongly independent she was. Get that, right? I'm very courageous, very courageous. And then here you get, this is an image of her, and you can see that she's turned inward and vulnerable and naked. She definitely had the courage. I know all of her art isn't even that comfortable to look at. It's so graphic about really unexplored areas in art. So you get that. And then here you've got a picture of statues of Frida and Juan because they would walk in this park. And so now it's the Park of Frida Kahlo. So they would look at the bougainvilleas behind. I'm gonna walk through the little gazebo-like walkway there. And she is a great representation, in my opinion, of recognizing, maybe not even cognitively so much as full-bodied, the significance of life. I mean, she let the small instances of her life be the fuel for really breaking open really, really deep themes when it comes to being alive and connection with self and connection with the world. I'm going to give you a glimpse here behind me. Look how beautiful this is. Significance. And I'm sure that you can even identify in your own life where you've had moments that were incredibly significant. Stories that remain alive with the divine. If we were to take that as an understanding of the moment, we could easily say that every moment contains that opportunity for significance. And again, that's something for you to really play with. Is that true for you, or do you think moments are more or less significant? So this brings me now to the period of Jesus's life that goes from Pontius Pilate deciding to have him crucified all the way up to the crucifixion. Now that part of Jesus's life is incredibly significant, isn't it? I mean, think about it. Think about how much theology, how much ritual, how many writings, how much art alone has been devoted to what looks like it may have been only 2 hours of a person's life. And yet it seems to vibrate and resound through the cosmos with significance. Is this exclusive or inclusive? Of course, I'm going to think of it as inclusive. Inclusive means as for one, so for all. So in a couple reflections ago, I mentioned that they think pretty confidently that the scourging and the crowning of thorns would have taken only about 20 minutes. So once Pilate made the decision to have him crucified, I don't know why there wasn't a delay, why it happened so fast, other than that the mass energy turned towards it happening. And we've experienced that in our human history where mass hysteria or mass movement has influenced the trajectory of humanity very quickly. And everything was organized very quickly around it. That's mass consciousness or mass unconsciousness, right? The collective unconscious, as Carl Jung might put it. So think about the timing of that and the significance. I mean, I have just been feeling a really deep silence around this. Jesus, we have his last real words that are recorded until he's on the cross, have happened. And now he's scourged and crowned with thorns. Let's just take a moment to pause in respect for that event. Minutes. Think of how quickly 20 minutes may go by. All of these reflections are longer than 20 minutes. And then there would have been forms of crosses already prepared, and he would have been set in motion immediately to carry a cross. Think about anything you can remember historically, whether you are familiar with the Stations of the Cross, whether you are familiar with the various events starting from when he shouldered the cross all the way up to the crucifixion. Let's give a minute of silence just to recall as much as you're able to, and out of respect from the stance of compassion alone, let's take a moment in silent reverence for that. And then lastly, he arrives to the place again where we know it's probably about a half a mile or less. And an hour or more later, he is actually with nails crucified. Let's go ahead and remember that. What that would have been like, what it would have felt like if you were his friend, if you were standing there. What conjures up within you? What arises? What thoughts? What sentiments? What reflections? What questions? What happens within you when you reflect upon this? I know for me, a very deep silence seems to envelop me. Significance. Frida Kahlo witnesses it. Jesus witnesses it. And you have the opportunity to witness it within yourself and for yourself. And remembering that significance isn't running after meaning, it's not grasping, it's not pushing, it's falling into it, falling into the arms of significance. There's the qualities of attentiveness and devotion and compassion and allowing and non-attachment. There's a soulfulness to it. Can you fall into the significance of your life, of this moment of history and life in general? All right, so I found a nice little spot. The park that we just walked through, I'm at the tail end of it. It's behind the phone. And this nice spot here is lovely. You can hear the birds. There's quite a lot of birds here, and I love it. There are not so many people, there's probably about 10 people, all sitting on benches and reading books. Isn't that delightful? Have you ever taken a book to a park and just read? It's been years for me. All right, so the meditation part of this is going to be a mantra that's very simple. Om Namah Shivaya. And Om is considered the bija, or the seed syllable, sometimes for the third eye in some traditions, some for the crown, and obviously Om is considered the seed sounding of consciousness. So consciousness is seen to be not just what we are, but also flowing, informing is a better word, informing our existence. And so opening up with Om gives us space for us to penetrate, to come into the significance, which is in the flow, the affluence of our life and all of life. And Namah Shivaya is I bow to you, and Shiva is considered the form of consciousness, the power of consciousness. And it is the informing principle of the life force. So it just seems like an appropriate mantra for us in this moment. And if you're inclined, you could allow the events that we just recalled to be what you presence as a way of presencing life in general. That is the moments of Jesus, from the scourging and crowning to the carrying of the cross to the actual nailing, being nailed to the cross. And clearly these aren't pleasant images, but like Frida Kahlo, there is such a wealth to be had. I mean, she took the suffering of her life and she has given us an existential statement about life that is so sensual and tactile that the meanings are still being uncovered. And we have the opportunity in the reflection of Jesus's events of suffering to open up to the significance of life. All right, enough about that. I invite you to close your eyes. And drop into presence. Drop into that part of you that is the loving observer of all, that shows up with devotion, attentiveness, allowing. The soulful part of you. And when you're ready, just simply begin chanting with me. You'll be able to pick it up very quickly. Inviting in a breath. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 We move into the silence where the sounding continues. And we begin another round. If you're inclined, place the intention that your perception may be purified and illumined, and that every human being's perception may be purified and illumined. Inviting in a breath. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Moving back into a bit more silence. We begin one last round, and if you're inclined, place the intention that the collective conscious and unconsciousness may be purified and illumined. Inviting in a breath. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Let me bring this meditation to a close. To seal our time, I invite you to bring your palms together in front of your heart and to open your eyes with Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Well, the sun's really shining on me now. It's like being illumined. Have a great day.